Hello everyone, I am here to show you the next step in building your African spherical pots. The last video we finished closing it and putting a foot on it. Now it's been a few days and the pot is dry enough to flip it over safely without it collapsing. And then I will show you how to prepare it to start building the next part, the finishing off the sphere and putting on the neck. The situation now is such that when we flip it over, we'll have to clean out the inside and smooth the inside that is a little rough from the closing, and then we'll prepare the edges and start coiling up the sides. That's the plan. So we'll get started with that. I'm going to turn you around here and get you to our work area. I think you'll be able to see from there. So now we're going to see this whole process. Here is the pot. Let me show you that here. Here's where we last left it. It's covered, as you can see, with plastic. It's been 3 or 4 days and I've kept it covered with plastic, so it's dried very slowly. That's the safest way to dry something if you have the time. So now you can see the piece here, and it's you can see the whole form of it, and I'm going to just spend a little time maybe working the outside a little bit, as long as I have it here. It's in a pretty dry state, so I can just work on smoothing it and scraping it, and I'm using the steel rib for that. It's a little wet yet, so that's actually quite good. It means that it's soft enough to join to, and perhaps maybe it's too soon to do too much of this, because it really will scrape better when it's a little drier. So I'm just kind of seeing about smoothing it a bit, and it's working well. But I would say that the clay is still a little soft. Now this material that you scrape off, you can take that and put it into your slip bucket and use it for joining slip, which you'll see in just a moment. So now what I'm going to do, I'll come back and work on the surface of this because it is just a little bit softer. I want it to be a little more crumbly for this work. Now you see down here we have our covering of damp towel, and we have a little bit of plastic that's protected. The primary function there is to keep the bottom edge, which will become the middle of the pot. We want that to be soft, and so we have protected that through the whole process. I'll set that aside. And now it's time to flip it over. Now you can take any piece of wood you can find, or any flat board, or any material at all. I have this extra bat here, and I'm going to just take this and move. I can put my hand, as you see, underneath, because I have this wooden bat on the underneath side. I hold my hand on top, press just a little bit, and flip it very quickly. And now we have our piece upside down. And this is a sure test that it's stiff enough to hold up because it hasn't collapsed. Now here, this piece of wood is coming right off. That's great. Sometimes it's a little stuck and you have to take a cutoff wire through it. But you can see here, we have a nice little drum. That's kind of a nice little setup. This is that extra bit of clay that we put on in order to start the piece. And so what I'm going to do here is take a needle tool or a fettling knife, whichever one I find first, and I'm going to cut that section out. I want to cut that little extra clay right out of there. And let's see, I should have had something there. Let's see if I can find something that'll work. Okay, this will work. This is something like that. So what I want to do is come in here and just cut in. I'm going to make it thicker initially because I can't see the exact edge until I cut this out. But I'm just gonna, this is a kind of a waste piece here. We're just gonna get rid of this. And that is going to work for us. We lift this out. And you can see there's our pot. And there's that middle. I told you it was going to look a little bit like a belly button. So now that we have access to the inside, and this is still, it's a little, it's not that soft, but it's still, it's beginning of leather hard. So I can reach in here. I don't know if you can, so I'm just going to reach in to this and start smearing that, because what I want to do is all that material that's in there, I want to make sure that I compress it and don't trap any air bubbles in it. So before I do anything else, that's the first step, which is to really work it in and rub it together so that it looks quite smooth, and we get rid of the big gaps. So there you go. And the next step is to take your steel rib on the curved edge here and begin, while turning it so you get a nice even coat, I'm going to clean this out. So it looks like this will be, this will take some time. So I am going to leave you while I work on this, and then I will turn I'll come back to you for a part 2 to join clay and start to build the sphere, and then part 3 will be the bringing the sphere into a finished neck. So that's where we're headed right now. So I'll see you in part 2 of this demonstration.